Okay, here's something I've been thinking about that I am not sure if I have any articulatable thoughts on it yet, but it's just something I've been thinking about. So, I've been thinking about this idea of an imaginary audience. Like, when you're living your life, having this sense of like other people are watching me, and also, I think, part of that concept is imagining that that imaginary audience is judging you, not only watching you, but also judging you. And I've definitely felt this a lot in my life. Like, so much to the point where, like, I remember in, like, quarantine days, like, when I would sometimes order DoorDash, I would be, like, afraid to order what I wanted because the people at the restaurant would judge me, the, like, DoorDash driver would judge me. And so I felt this, like, sense of, this imaginary audience judging my preferences and behaviors, even in situations where I would not be subjected to their opinions if they did have them. Like, the people at the restaurant are never gonna interact with me and be like, who the is this weirdo ordering this weird thing? One thing I like to order was like a double order of edamame. I don't even remember what I would order with it, but like, I love edamame. Anyway, so somehow I got to this point where, which I think, honestly, I think that was one specific thing that really helped me break out of this, was like kind of exposure therapying myself by slightly, baby stepping my way into ordering exactly what I wanted on DoorDash or whatever it was. And like ordering a double order of edamame and not caring what other people think about it. So now I'm to the point where, like, the other day I ordered some really strange combination of things from DoorDash. I really don't DoorDash that much because I'm broke right now. But anyway, so I've been thinking about, this change and this transition. And this is something I've tweeted about before, because a lot of people will say, like, no one's paying as much attention to you as you're worrying about. Or like, you're not that important that other people would be watching and judging your opinions. But I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just not true. I mean, in certain cases, yes. But like, people love to people watch. People love to like judge the weird, to them, weird actions of others. Like, that's a primary thing that humans do, is like notice what other people are doing and like process it in a way that, sometimes looks like gossip, sometimes looks like, making fun of them. Like, that's a thing people do. You can't look at me and tell me that people aren't looking at and judging other people. Like, that's what humans do. So anyway, so I really don't like that advice. But when I tweeted that, what I was kind of reflecting on is, why don't we instead give the advice of like, here's why it doesn't matter. Here's why it's worth still doing those things you want, even if people judge you or like are watching you or whatever. So that's been my stance on it for a while. But then I was just thinking recently, maybe today actually, like, what if we can go a step further in that, it's not only like you don't have to care what other people think. What if it's like, they're okay, let's assume there is an imaginary audience. What if I leaned into enjoying performing for that imaginary audience? Like, what if as Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage. What if I like lean into this kind of like almost camp like performance, like I am, you know, I'm being me and other people enjoy watching it. And like, what's so bad about that? And I think it's like, I don't know, I think that's just such a different view than how I used to be of like, and I'm definitely not 100% like to that point of like never being afraid of what other people think, or like never having this sense of judging eyes on me. I'm still very, especially in like certain contexts, I'm very sensitive to feeling like people are not only in like an imaginary audience type way, but in like a monitoring and like surveilling kind of way. Like because I've had bad experiences of like people, not like intense, but I don't even know how to describe it, but having to be on high alert in order to like not upset certain people. Wow, and I just lost my train of thought, and that's also something I've been thinking about. This is unrelated. I mean, obviously related, but it is a tangent. How, well, I've been wondering, like, how often someone losing their train of thought is because their train of thought approached something that their brain felt was potentially entering overwhelming territory. So that was definitely what just happened, because as soon as I was like, I have had bad experiences with this, my brain was like, let's clamp down. Let me take that train and knock it off its track. Okay, brain, I'm not going into that. I'm just mentioning it. Can we get back to where we were? Crickets. It's crickets in there. What was I even talking about? Good Lord. Okay, imaginary audience. Yeah, so definitely in some situations, I still have this sense of like needing to take this audience's views into account and like act in a certain way, or like try to hide from this imaginary audience. But I think it was just a really interesting concept today of like, okay, what if it's a yes and, like, yes, there is an imaginary audience and I'm a performer. I love to perform. What if I just lean into that fact with this imaginary audience too? So actually I think that's kind of all. And if you haven't seen my other video, the reason I have this on my head is because it was my birthday yesterday. And it's so funny because before I started filming, it kept falling off my head. And I'm like, it's fine if it falls off, but I want to at least have it on in like the first couple seconds because it's cute. And it was my birthday. But this shit has stayed on, so I'm not going to purposely take it off. So that's why it's on during this video. So if you want to watch my other video, I wish this was kind of wish this was a puppet, but it's because it's a reversible. Anyway, if you want to watch another video of mine, I just made a video, my longest video actually, it was like 30 minutes. Just kind of like various birthday related reflections. Yeah. That's all I got. Thanks for watching if you did.